Hi, my name's Jonathan. Now, I've been doing Heron's fountains for a while, and I've learned and I've gone through trial and error of my own. Now, I have one of the old ones, familiar with. This one hasn't been used in years. It's been abandoned. You pour the water down. It basically goes through this tube and fills this part up with water. Then you got the air tube that goes up, pushes down on water, blah, blah, blah. But when you're done, you got to turn it upside down. Then you lose water out of here. And it just brings a lot of trouble. Now here's my new one, and this one has its issues, but very little. It's very efficient, and these containers are 5-gallon containers and airtight lids. Now this bicycle pump is just my way of reversing it. That way you don't gotta, you want a bigger fountain, right? So why would you want to get this thing and turn it upside down? Why not even connect them? Just leave them unconnected. Use the tops to put your tubing down. And I got these valves. They're ball valves, and they do a lot. So now this container here is my top container, and there's this tube right here, which is comes to the bottom of this one, runs all the way down. This is my water tube. Right now I got it shut off. This container is full there, but except for the bottom, and it's going to that bottom tube. So when that water starts to fall, this air goes up, forces it out, goes up my air tube, which that valve's closed, comes all the way up to here, and then it fills this with air, pushes this water down, and this is my fountain tube, which runs to the bottom. And the water has nowhere to escape, except there's my fountain valve, but through here. But if you start it without any kind of prime, air pressure to begin with, like if I start it now, it's going to take a minute for enough air pressure to build up in here, and there's going to be a lot of water dropping before the air pressure builds up enough to actually start it. So this container is going to start to fill up first before this container starts to empty, and it makes an imbalance. So this is a tire press. This is an air valve stem that you put on a tire, which doesn't leak. And I got just a bicycle pump that I kind of leave hooked to it. I can take it off if I want. I can prime it. Let's go ahead and prime it, give it a couple pumps with the water and air valve closed. This tank gets a little compressed. I'm gonna open my air valve. Now this one's filling up with air. Pump it a couple more times, maybe 1, 2, 3, maybe 4. And I'm gonna let this run. I open my fountain. The fountain's already going, except it's running over a little bit. That's all right. Then I'm gonna start this. Now the water can start dropping, and it has a little bit of pressure before the actual fountain actually starts to work. Look at that. I put blue food coloring in it to let it go, and now the water is leaving this tank, coming up here, and it's emptying into this tank. And as the water level rises, it pushes air out of here and down into here, forcing this water to come out there. And this thing will run for a constant 20 minutes before it needs to be reset. Now, I don't have to turn this Heron's fountain upside down. All I gotta do is pump the water straight back up. It's easy as pie, and then start it again. It's fun. If anybody likes stuff like this, it's great. I wanted to do this as an experimental project. Now, this hose right here is just in case this reservoir gets too full. It's going to my tomato plant. Look, I can open it up for a second. It just, relieves the water out of there, which sometimes it gets a little too full, and you want to drain it out a little bit. Sometimes you over prime it with air. Sometimes it goes over the top. Now, I got a lot of improvements I want to do to this, but that's the only thing that's for. Now what this one's for, this is holding all the air pressure into this container. If I open this valve, it will bleed all the air pressure out, and this fountain will stop, and it'll have to be redone altogether. So we'll let this thing run for a little while. As you can see, this middle container is going down with a bunch of pressure, and this one, the water level is rising. So we'll see how this goes. I'll show you how to recharge it. As you can see, I have no air leaks. Now I did before, and you can hear it big time. And nothing here. I mean, it's just as efficient as ever. If you have air leakage here, it will lose the energy, and you'll have to have more water at the bottom to produce the same energy up here, and it will just make this slow down and it will fail. Basically, you know, I'm using gravity from this container to come to this container, and this fills up, pushes out air, forces it down on this, which pushes that water down. That's pneumatic pressure. And the pressure inside this container is more than the atmospheric pressure, which forces the water down. So the water has nowhere to go except to the top. And it's been running for, you know, several minutes. Now this thing usually goes about 20 before it stops. We're about 8 minutes in and everything's still flowing real well. This tank is becoming more empty. Of course, I got everything strapped down. This tank is becoming more full. I don't hear any leaks or anything. These valves are what you need, period. We're about 15 minutes in. Still flowing real well. Now the water in the top container has dropped a little bit. As the pressure decreases, the water starts going into the bottom container a little bit faster than what it's being pumped out. So this is getting low and this is getting higher, but once the water reaches down here, the pressure will equalize. It'll start shooting out like crazy, but I've designed it to where it won't do that. And all I gotta do to stop it, once this container is full and this one's empty, is to open the pressure relief valve, and that will blow off a lot of air. I even blew up a balloon with it, you know, just to see how much pressure it had, and it had a lot. This thing runs on a lot of pressure. I'd say about 15-16 minutes in, I've actually timed this with my stopwatch, so I know I'm accurate. It's still going strong. It will kind of slow down a little bit towards the end. Now I can, you know, do this, pump it. We'll pump this, and it will add a little pressure, give it a boost. I can keep doing that if I want, but no matter what, it will run to the end. I mean, but that's optional. That's why I leave that hooked up. But that's the only time I've done that since this thing's been running. We're about 18 minutes along. Now this fountain's gotten a little bit weaker. I only gave it 2 pumps. I didn't have to give it any at all, and it would still run very well to the end. You can see this reservoir, which the water is getting real low. This one's getting pretty high. Once this bottom tank runs out of air to push up to force this water down, it's all over with. But we won't have to turn this Heron's fountain upside down and connect it and worry about leaks and all that stupid crap. This one's so much simpler and so much easier to do. I don't have to drill holes in the container and worry about leaks. All I got is these caps, and if, you know, I mess up one of them, I can buy new caps, see? So this one's so much more efficient and so much easier and makes everything so much more simple. Now as the cycle gets towards the end, you know, the fountain will kind of die down a little bit. The reservoir up here will get a little bit lower as more water comes down here than water being pushed out. And as you can see, this hose is getting close to the end. Now you'll see this bolt I got hooked to it with a zip tie. These hoses, sometimes they don't want to stay down straight, so what I do is I kind of weigh them down with that, and that's what those are for. I got one at the bottom of this one too, but this has been going for about 19 minutes and it's close to the end. This one is starting to fill up, so we'll let it go for a little bit longer. Alrighter, now this one is about full with water, so the fountain's going to stop once this water goes all the way up here and then starts going up my air tube, and it goes about halfway. This fountain will stop, or water or air gets in the bottom of this tube. Now the more you pump it, the less time the water or the fountain will go for, because there's the eruption, which you can avoid that by draining the pressure. It'll do that at the end as air starts going in this tube. I'm gonna look, what? This is my pressure release valve. A lot of air pressure coming out of that. So now I've done that, I'm gonna shut everything off. So this tank is irrelevant. Everything's shut off, both valves. This straw fits right into that tube. It's a 1/4 inch diameter in the middle. I'm going to pull that out. Now this water, this water is going to drain down the fountain tube back into here. But if I was to shut this valve off, no air can escape. So this container here would stop filling. So that's why I got this. You can hear the air pressure as I opened it. So now air can escape, water can go in. So I gotta keep water above this. So I'm gonna keep my air pressure valve closed, and I'm gonna open this one. And this is gonna be like a reverse Heron's fountain. Air is going in this short tube. It's gonna push down on this water, and it's gonna go right up. But it's gonna be a reverse fountain. So let's open this. Now let's start pumping. As you can see, some air is going in. I don't want to over my pressure. I got a lot of pressure forcing up. See that good fountain head there? Now I got to pump. I don't want to pump too fast. So now instead of turning this thing upside down, all I got to do is just push this pump down, you know, not too many times, because that pressure will last for a while. And as I pump, I want to keep it below like 20 psi. But I don't want to fill this container up faster than it can drain back down into this container. And if I do, this is why I got this valve here. If it overflows, I could just, you know, open that. So it's got a good head on it still, so it's not close to the top. I'm gonna watch my pressure, which you can judge by that too. So it's basically a reverse Heron's fountain. I don't have to turn it upside down, and I can just reset it, prime it, just like this. It's beautiful. See this container starting to fill back up. This one's getting empty. This actually happens pretty quick. So me adding air and pumping the water back up, that's me. That's my energy that I'm putting in. And you know, the energy from the fountain is not free energy, because it takes me having to pump to put in the energy to get back out of it. 2 or 3 minutes in, I gave it about 4 pumps. You don't have to pump it just every few minutes. And you can see that fountain head. Now that's not coming out of the fountain hose. That fountain there is coming out of the same hose, which is my water hose that is right here, that the water was going down. Basically this container is a reversal of this one, or the same thing. It's just reversing the roles. This water here is pumping up all the way up here, but going down my fountain tube back in the fountain. And this is very easy. I mean, it don't take any time to prime it, get it going again. You can see this one's filling up, and this one is emptying. This container is starting to get full. I'm gonna fill it up to about right here. Once I do, I'm gonna get my fountain valve, which is this one back here, shut it off to where this water can't go down that tube anymore. But this one's getting pretty low. As you can see, the bolt that I got holding that line all the way down so it don't curl up. You can also boil these tubes too in water and make them to where they stay straight. Those bolts always help hold them down in place. 1, 2, 3. So easy. So easy, it should be a crime. No leaks. Okay, YouTubers, or whatever you're watching this on. Now the water as it gets to the bottom of that tube, it's going to fill up there. Once that happens, all I'm going to do is open the air valve, allow some air pressure to get expelled into here, which this ain't holding pressure because this valve is open, and all that air is going to go out this pressure valve right here. So almost done. There it goes. Watch, air is being sucked up. Open that valve up. I'm gonna wait till the water and the air stop. Now that's shut. Now this thing down here is completely dead. So as that water level drops just a little bit more, this container is going to fill up to about where I want it. And once that happens, I'm going to shut off the valve to here where no more water can get into this. So here it goes. Alright, I'm going to shut this valve off. Now, in order for this tank to hold air pressure, I got to shut this valve off. Now this can become pressurized. Now this straw, which I can't really do it while holding my camera, I'm just gonna barely push it right back down into there, kind of point it how I want it. All valves are closed, so in order to start this again, this one, I'm gonna pump it about twice. Open this air valve, air is going to come up to here, and I'll pump it about 1, 2, 3 more times, maybe 3.5, 4. Open this valve, this thing starts on its own. Now I'm going to open this and let the water start going down, and it's just going to continue the whole time, and it's restarted. It was that easy. No turning this Heron's fountain upside down. No, while turning it upside down, having whatever water is in here leaking out. Now another thing, see this air, let's say I just want to turn it off temporarily and turn it back on while it's in the middle. This air pressure valve, watch as I turn it off. Watch, it just shuts it right off slowly. Watch, it's turning off. It's kind of like a fountain when you need it. When you don't need it, it just shuts off. Gonna stop. Now if I want to turn it back on, I just get the air pressure, turn it right back on, and there it goes. On and off switch right there. Now if I want to kill it completely, all I gotta do is just let all the air pressure out of this tank and just kill it. But if I do that, want to start it, I may want to prime it again with the air pump. But this is my Heron's fountain. My name's Jonathan Wathen. I just wanted to, because I know I've been working on these for a while, and I've been through, you know, with these things that are connected, no valves to help regulate anything, and it just pain in the butt with leaks. If you do it like this, it's so much easier, and it's so cool. But anyways, like this, feel free to comment. All right, have a good day. Peace.